Hi, I'm Kevin Drinkall.
Hi, and I'm Michel Nicolai, and we welcome you to Zyzone Networks podcast.
We've been in the network industry for over 15 years, and in these podcasts we want to try and untangle the world of networking, debunk some of those myths, explain some real-world examples along the way, to help you make better choices about selecting the right tech, product, and even help you guys build faster, more reliable, scalable networks, or just to keep your kids happy at home.
Well, welcome back to another podcast, and in today's podcast we've got a few different topics, Michelle, to talk about.
Yeah, we're going to give you more in-depth information on our Nebula platform. And for the people that are not that familiar with our Nebula platform, maybe some small introduction before we give a heads up on the topics we want to discuss. So
yeah, I can do that. No problem. I'll do that, and then we'll dig into some of those new features and functions that are, really cool for our customers. So,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
So in 2016, we introduced our Nebula Cloud platform, which is a centralized management tool for our wireless, switch, security, and 5G products. And it's just been from success to success as we've grown and matured the platform, now serving over 1 million devices across the globe, and basically revolutionized the way that our customers operate and work with networking equipment, and it's to be completely designed around our customers. And every step of the way we've been developing to improve and make sure it fits around what our customers are doing, so what you guys are doing. And I think that's really takes us directly into the
I think that there are so many things that Nebula will provide you, because before we move into, let's say, the more detailed topics that we want to discuss today, we see that our resellers are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Then trying to manage more organizations and more customers. They need to have more features to deal with this as along the success of Nebula that we have. And as you know, Nebula is built for building a more efficient and more ease of use way of doing business with your customer, and be proactive on if anything happens at the customer side within the network.
Well, what's been interesting is since 2016, when we first introduced the platform, I think the way that people have changed their business model or changed the way they work to be, like you say, more efficient and able to scale and serve regions that they wouldn't necessarily do, right? And that change, we classify that as like a managed service provider. So where you've changed and moved away from doing that traditional break fix. When we say break fix, we mean the customer rings you up, you go out, you charge for your time, into a more service-based operation where you're managing people's IT and managing services for them, not just networking, but also, their IT infrastructure in general. And I think Nebula allows you to do that in a big way, and that's where we've seen the success and the take up, is where customers migrating away from a more traditional approach in business to becoming a managed service provider. So, and that, I would say, brings us on to the first real big changes that we applied to the Nebula platform, because Nebula is designed to look after multiple organizations with multiple sites, with multiple devices underneath them. And when you're a managed service provider, you need that extra level of tools and feature set to help you replicate or do those day-to-day tasks much easier. And most of the cloud platforms out there, when we were doing our research, didn't do the sort of things that, missing some key components that most of our customers felt we could really do with. And so we built a whole MSP pack around the way that they operate. So maybe you want to give a bit more insight into how that works.
Let's start how we started with it, because the solution that we have in Nebula, if you have, let's say, only a few customers, or you only have a few people in your organization who's doing the management, then then you have a few engineers, maybe one or two that's covering all your customers. But yeah, you're as a reseller or as an MSP are growing the business and you're responsible for a couple of hundred customers, then yeah, your organization needs to be changed. So it could easily be that if a problem occurs and your customer is calling in, that he reaches, let's say, level 1 support. And level 1 support has some kind of privilege to look in the system and check on your problem, and they can move it to a level 2 or to a more senior engineer. And that way of handling was never really in the original platform as we built it. But as the success of Nebula is growing and growing, we see that those MSPs are getting bigger and the requirement for more tools is there. And there we stepped in. So therefore, we have more levels and more ways of organizing you as an MSP to help your customers. That's the idea.
So I think best way to break it down, Michelle, in fact, around the MSP pack is to talk about the 3 segments it covers, right? So it has this administration part, which is really about how you administrate your team, which is a big fundamental part, right? Yep. And often something that's been left out of most of the competitors' products, right? We don't see it very often where you can manage the team in a way that we've implemented it. And don't forget, we spent a lot of time speaking to our customers, understanding how they deliver on scale and how they manage these teams, right? Then we've got the monitoring of the customer part, the day-to-day, how do we see what's going on with our customers and how do we, respond to that or even proactively see those issues in the platform or in the product on site or whether there's some connectivity issue somewhere. And then the third part is the smart MSP tools, right? The tools that allow you to fast deploy, do configuration templates, do some kind of alerting process, backup and restore and, advanced firmware management and even, some elements of branding for your MSP, right? And when you stick all those kind of tools together, they are there to design to make almost like packages for yourself, right? You have a small business, a medium business, a large business, and it always wants to be set up in a certain way, then you can replicate it or you can tweak some of them, and this allows you to do it at scale repeatedly and, standardize your approach, which needs to be done when you're a managed service provider.
And again, it supports, let's say, the efficiency that we want to achieve, so that the MSP can help more customers in a shorter period of time because the tools that we provide in our MSP pack can help them with this.
Obviously built on top of the traditional functionality that you need in everyday networking equipment, right? So you've got those AI tools and reporting tools. And then on top of that, you've got this extra level of functionality that allows you to do it at team level or at the managed service provider level. But in the latest update, Michelle, we got loads of new features that have been added.
Yeah, exactly. We can have now, let's say, a team leader. So let's say the guy who's responsible for the support team, he can be, let's say, the MSP master. So he controls everything, let's say, like an umbrella. He will oversee the team and will oversee all the organizations, all the customers that they are delivering the service to. And then they can give the privileges also to their engineers that are helping their customers in all kinds of levels as well. And what the one that people were looking for is that as you working as an engineer for an MSP and you're creating an organization, that it can automatically be on the account of the MSP. So it really works as a whole. And that is a big advantage.
Because so it creates that kind of synchronization, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so some of the challenges I remember speaking to some customers was, I build it, I'm an admin, I'm creating some sites because that's my job today, but then they never get reflected back in the whole MSP.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that is all part of the new MSP update.
Exactly. So that's a very powerful thing that we have integrated. And if you look at the competitors in the market, we outperform them at the moment in the way of how we deal with this. So it's not only on, let's say, giving the privileges to the different administrators. That is one thing, but also the tools to do an easy deployment. Let's say partially copy a configuration from an existing customer to start on a new customer, so that you don't need to do the configuration whole from the start, and you can start on, let's say, on a point that it saves time, to finish that configuration. So all kinds of things to make it easier to configure, but also for easy troubleshooting. So if there is something ongoing, that you are much quicker on resolving the issue. So that's really important. And as you said, the alerting can be really key on this, because that is really enhanced, and the alerting can be addressed to a specialist, for instance. If there's a Wi-Fi issue coming up, that it will be addressed to a Wi-Fi specialist or something. So precise.
So you can really customize.
Really customize it.
That's it's much nicer. And we mentioned a little bit there at the beginning about some of those tools, and you went into them about the configuration and templates. I think even though it's not the brand new features, just to give a recap on that, the MSP Pack also has this ability to create these templates and these configuration tools, and that applies to Wi-Fi, switching, and also to security as well. Especially security seems to be the one that's very time consuming. And also, although it's not part of MSP, it's one of those features that MSPs will leverage from, and that's around auto VPN, or, where you just click and it will join the sites together or create a whole mesh of VPNs. And then we have these tools built into the platform that allow you to give you fast access to really understand the problem fast. Like Wi-Fi clients can be, you can detect whether they've actually got DHCP, whether they can actually get on the internet, or whether they've got, some blockage, or whether they've even got connectivity. So Wi-Fi is one of those big problems that takes much longer to get at. And, there's some of the tools that are there as well. So whilst we've added more features to MSP, we've also enhanced a whole bunch of features and functions in the Nebula platform as a whole to provide fast access to tools like Michel mentioned as well, right?
Yeah, and the thing is that we enhanced this a couple of years ago when we started this, and then we provided this additional tools with a license. So for the people that want to leverage from these additional tools, as Kevin just explained, you had to buy a license to give you these feature sets. But the good thing now is if you are part of our Zazel partner program and you are managing over 250 active Nebula devices, you can claim such a license free of charge.
Absolutely.
So we can help you to build up this kind of structure in your own organization, and we help you with this.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the, the understanding our customer process, right? For those of you who want to know more information about the partner program, there is another podcast that talks about where we changed it over. So we won't cover that in too much detail here. But just to remember that we have this tiered approach based on active devices in Nebula. So we have an ally level, which has, 10 Nebula devices, and you can start to get some discount on, purchasing product and more advanced services as we go along. And then, like Michel mentioned, when you get to the Prime level, the 250 devices, we give you one of those MSP packs. Also, just so we also include it, we also include some training as well. So you can do online training to make sure you understand how to use those features and functions as well. And then obviously when you go to the next level, which is 650 devices, we believe that if you're managing your business with our products, then we should allow you to take advantage of those MSP features as well, right?
And probably your organization is also bigger when you're hosting over 650 devices.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you might need some more people, to have the same kind of feature set available. Yeah. So for those, we even increased it to what's the number, Kev, on this one?
3. So we give you 3
even. Yeah. So that is really nice that we can facilitate this. Yeah. So if you want to claim these, make sure that you're registered. Yeah, go to our website and register as a partner, and then you can leverage from this free MSP license. If you're not there yet, then don't worry. You can start a trial and see how it operates. And if you're not reach that number, then you can still purchase the license. Yeah, so it is available to everyone.
Yeah, so you can head on down to partner.zyzel.cloud. You can use your Zyzel login to apply, and then you can start the process, right? And if you let us know which are the accounts that you want included in the count, and it will start to count them up for you, and then obviously go for the partner program process. And another thing just to mention about MSP Pack before we sort of move on to our next topic is that it has these tools designed to make your life easier. And like we said before, it allows you to use, a mix of environments as well, which we should have touched on, I guess, at the beginning there, is that Nebula platform, there is a free base version, which is completely free. And then there is a Plus and a Pro pack that you can add. Pro pack basically has everything into it. And for security-wise, we also have something called a Gold pack that could go with a security product, which includes the Pro pack in it for Nebula management. And in that process, you might have a mix of customers that do need the features that are in the Pro Pack, and you might have a mix of customers that don't. And the advantage of the MSP Pack is also that you can use some of the tools that you would only normally get in the Pro Pack in the bigger, wider platform as an organization, like cloning the organization or the site, which wouldn't be there in the free version. So it does give you that extra feature set to control mix of different types of customers as well, because we understand that not every customer is going to have the same level or requirement for features within our product line.
And before I forget, also the people that are maybe using Nebula personally, or you're a small user, then you can always decide to call on one of our resellers to manage your network on their behalf. So just call one of your resellers and ask, okay, can you manage my Nebula? That's no problem. You still keep ownership of all your products and you still have access, but then you can ask a reseller or an MSP to do it, your management for you. So that's also a possibility if you have your own Nebula system and you want to have some support from one of our resellers. So it is eventually for all our Nebula users available.
Excellent. So that gives you a lot of flexibility in different approaches. So, you might be a company administrator yourself, and then you grow and you want MSP to manage you. You can assign the privileges to the MSP. You might want to move from one SP to another, and this is also something that you can do as well. So moving on. So there's a lot to talk about, and I want to talk about the licensing side of things.
I think also very interesting for any MSP that is listening up, because that sometimes can be really a struggle. And I think we have great solutions to help you on this, to manage your licenses.
So we introduced a platform called Circle a few years back to consolidate the products and organize the products in one centralized place. And ever since then, we've basically continued to develop the process and tried to make licensing much simpler. I mean, my experience of working inside a service provider and working, for a value-added reseller or a stroke MSP is that, licensing is like the number one problem for administrating, not just from, renewing, but also it's a nightmare to keep track of. So the idea is from Circle is to consolidate all that licensing process, bring it all together and make it much simpler to work with. And licensing is very difficult. I think we've done a pretty good job, and the feedback so far has been that we managed to make it much smoother and easier. And with the latest updates to Circle, we've made it even easier and more flexible, because we understand MSPs, for example, that they also, they charge subscription fees, so every month. So to also align with that, we introduced pay-as-you-go functionality, which is listed as PayYG in the system as well. And this allows us to move to a monthly based licensing process based on how many active devices you have. So it'll go up or down in line with what you need to renew. And you can do that automatically and manage it yourself in the platform.
Yeah, because as you know, when you're starting or buying products, then the alignment on your expiration dates, they are completely different. Yeah, as Kevin explained, it is a nightmare to have track on that. So with the solutions that we provide on Circle and on Pay-as-you-go, you can end this and say, okay, I will align then everything that I have or on the customers that I'd like to use for, I can align this on a specific month and then renewal from there. And that makes your administration much, much easier than checking on your database when a license is expired.
Yeah, so you can align and also take advantage of immediate access to the pro features, for example, in an organization. So you can say, today I've got 10, tomorrow I've got 20 devices, and it will just add into it. Then the next month you'll be basically increased for the amount of devices you've got. So it's a very flexible approach. And if you decide that your customer doesn't need any more, you can stop, or you can downgrade, or you can move the devices, so it's a very flexible approach for this monthly billing tier, and falls in line much easier with how companies want to operate, especially when you get larger, cash flow wise and stuff like that, right? It's all a very important part of the cycle. So whilst, yes, we can do the technical, we can do the delivery of the features, the functions, and the product itself, delivering the connectivity, we also want to make sure that the administration side, right, and the day-to-day operation keeps your security up to date, and B, keeps you in line with all the licensing that you require and feature set that you need to do without having to worry too much about, I need to buy this site this month and that site, that month, and I've got this customer on that, and this. It gives you a much easier way to manage and centralizes it all in one place. Again, you could use the same login credentials you use for Nebula, for the partner program, and for Circle to do the whole thing. So you only need, your user accounts from Seisel to do the whole thing.
Yeah, and if the products are licensed on a specific account, you can point the administration to another account that on behalf of the company. That is also no problem. So you can really assign this automatic renewal to a specific person, maybe from finance or from other departments that can easily do this to make sure that all the licenses are valid during the products are staying with your customer.
Even though it does do PayYG or pay-as-you-go, and it does have its licensing thing, you can buy license keys through the platform, and you can automatically renew a product, removing some of that hassle of sending an email, getting a key, going to the platform, adding the key. This process also can be automated through the platform. So if you don't want to take that pay-as-you-go approach, you can still buy the licensing. It will tell you about what's up for renewal, and you can click on it, go through the cycle, and you can pay there and then, and it'll basically renew the product for you immediately. It will also time-saving, and approach is much faster. So yes, we've added these new features to align with different business models, but the traditional approach is still there as well, and that's still made easier through this platform. Much easier. And if you've got a few products you want to look after, or 100 products you want to look after, it doesn't matter. You can just apply. One thing I would say about Circle is you do need to be a partner to access it.
Yeah, so you just need to be registered.
Just registered, and registered costs nothing to do. So all you need to do is register as a customer in the partner portal, and then you'll be able to access Circle as well. So all round, a pretty good process, and to streamline businesses as well. If you don't want to join the partner program and you don't want to use Circle, Of course, you can also buy through the traditional approach, which is through distribution or on our marketplace. There are a few options there as well that if you don't want to join our partner program or go for Circle as well. So lots there covered.
Yeah, I think we discussed a lot of things for MSPs. There's a new option to see how these new features are operating. Yeah, just have a look. Don't forget to use the trial if you want to see how this works. And also, if you're interested in the licensing part, don't forget to register and find out what this can do for your business.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to find more about Nebula, there is a few different podcasts about Nebula. If you look back through our episodes that go into Nebula in much more detail, so you understand, I would say, the background of Nebula and what it can do for you. Or you can, of course, speak to any of our sales engineers or sales guys in any of the countries that we are present, and they'll be happy to sort of run a demo or etc. And online, we are always running webinars that you can look at as well. So feel free to have a look at those or come back to us and speak to our team. We'll be happy to do that and listen to our next podcast. So thank you very much.
Yeah, and thank you for listening, and hopefully to hear you next time on our next podcast.
Thank you.